And afterwards, I'm going to ask now. Okay, for the last time, we are going to count. Please raise the hands of those who want to be there in the afternoon. Volunteers, please run and count. Quickly. Don't put down till we say lower your hand. How many? So far, we have 18 persons. You can lower your hands now. But please take a paper and go and get the names. Yeah, if you have already been in the 18, you are in, that's fine. Yeah. Can you send some people to the open area in the lobby? They're standing too. No? Yeah, come inside. No? The last day, people are taking time packing bags and coming, bringing luggage, it looks. So, and we have a very short plenary session today with the valedictory happening. We have to clear the place for security at least 20, 30 minutes before. So this is the imperative we have to deal with today. Can you get your... I'm just checking the presence of our plenary speakers. I'm reading out the names. If you can just show your hand, and then if you have any PowerPoint which you want to load in, we would have to do it in the next 5 minutes. The chair, co-chairs are already, names are there, and we have met the people. Professor Tatsuya Ishikawa, are you in the room, sir? Professor Tatsuya Ishikawa. Can I see the hand? Ah, it's yourself. Welcome. Do you have any PowerPoint which you would like to? It's already there. Can you please confirm? Do we have Dr. Teshome Tamirat? Yes. Do you have any slides to show? It's already there? Super. Thank you. Professor Chandan Ghosh. Do we have Professor Chandan Ghosh here? May I ask to raise hand? Mr. Jokhin Ramke. Okay, good. Nice to see you, sir. Do you have any slides? Thank you. Dr. Elshan Amadou, thank you for coming. And do you have the slides? Super. Thank you. We have Professor Unnat P. Pandit. You have any? Okay. We have Sri Gibson Miranda. You have put your slides? Excellent. Thank you so much for being there. We will give a couple of moments for others to come in, and then we will go live. It's already 10:20. We have a very short turnaround time. Just about the day itself, we have the plenary now. We will clear this place, have some tea, but meanwhile, security will make sure that place is set for the ministers to come inside, and then valedictory will be, hopefully, we'll try to finish by 1:30. And the afternoon post-lunch, there is a sightseeing trip, and the rest is for more networking, interactions, planning for departures, all that. I am told about the accommodation till 2nd, the hotels where you stay is available. For additional day, you will have to write and give name to, I will give the name of one person in the team, maybe during tea break. Just say if you are staying beyond 2nd in that hotel, the administration will organize either the same place or an alternative. They are very happy to look after our international delegates, but it's important to inform, and that's the kind of understanding we keep. Any questions from the audience? Shout or come to the mic. Any questions? Yeah. Are the volunteers ready? May I request people to be seated, please? Writing and all that, while you are seated, they will come to you. Let us not crowd up. May I request that you please be seated? We will start the plenary session. Otherwise, we have a very short turnaround time. Speakers will not even get 10 minutes at this rate. So we have to move fast. They have come all the way. Please be seated. Don't allow any crowding. Those writing the names, please move to their seats and get the names. Please be seated. Please be seated. Our volunteers are waiting to bring the plenary members upstairs to this place, to the dais. I would like to request Professor Sanjay Jasholaji to please come up. One of the volunteers, please accompany sir. Our co-chair, Professor Samantha Ray. And we have a second co-chair, Professor Sudha Arora. Would you please usher them in, bring them up? Our volunteers, please identify and bring them up. I'd like to request Professor Tatsuya Ishikawa also to be on the dais, and Dr. Teshom Tamirat. Professor Chandan Ghosh, are you here? Mr. Jokin Ramke, Dr. Elshan Amadov, Professor Unnat P. Pandit, Shri Gibson Miranda. Would you please come up the dais? The list, because of the changes, they are finalizing the list, but I would like to request the chair, Professor Sanjay Jasholaji, to give his opening remarks. And from the now, sir, you please take over the entire session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ray. Good morning, everyone, and it's a pleasure to welcome you all in this last plenary session. It's a pleasure to be part of such distinguished panel and people of eminence. The title of this plenary session is Inclusive Framework for Risk Governance. And this seems to be very apt as the last plenary session, because in the past 3 days, different sessions which have taken place. They started with understanding inclusivity in disaster management, leveraging technology for inclusive disaster preparedness, cross-sector collaboration for comprehensive risk reduction, community engagement and empowerment. And this seems to be very apt now at the last plenary session. We have seen that or post Silquera, this becomes more important to have a set of standards and the policies in the form of a framework to reduce or to have the governance for risk reduction. I'm told that this session is to be concluded by 11:15. So, and we have very distinguished people. We have Professor Sudha Arora ji, who has come from GB Pant University of Agriculture and Technology, Pantnagar. She's the co-chair. Professor S.D. Samantre, who is the professor and head of computer engineering from College of Technology, the same GB Pant University of Agriculture and Technology. The keynote in this session will be given by Ishikawa Tatsuya, the professor who has come from Japan. And we have distinguished panelists, Professor Teshome Tamirat, who has come, who is the director of Bamboo Desk and Inbar focal person for Ethiopian Forest Department, Addis Ababa. We have another panelist, Professor Chandan Ghosh, uh, who is the head, and he has come from National Institute of Disaster Management, Ministry of Home Affairs. And we have Mr. Joshin Ramke, who is the project head of ICRA, Government of India. So I'll ask if my co-chairs have to give their comments, and then we pass it on to Mr. Ishikawa for his keynote address. Because the time is very limited, there are hardly 45 minutes. I think I've taken 2-3 minutes, so 40 minutes, and 40 minutes are to be distributed among at least 6 people, and I assume that my co-chairs will support me and they'll take less time. So 40 divided by 6 comes out to be very less, but we'll try to give 7 to 8 minutes to our distinguished panelist. Would you like to say something?
Thank you, sir. Risk, basically, when we cover risk, all technologies also we have to take care. And nowadays we think that power, the risk for power, electricity, we have to cover that also. And whenever there is some disaster, there are some alternative sources available. So we can include that also, and that will be very helpful for all of us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Prof. Sudha. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Jasola. Very good morning to all of you, and it's a nice session. And the concluding framework will be very important for the part of the Dehradun Declaration. I wish that all the speakers will consider those aspects in the context of this conference. And we will be looking for some inclusive framework, including technology, soil, water, agriculture, weather, and all ecosystem based. And recently we have seen that gross environment product is becoming an keyword. And let's see how with this session helps us in all these directions. Thank you. Welcome all.
Sorry, I earlier missed Dr. Elsan Amadov, who has come from Azerbaijan. Yeah, and Professor Unnat Pandit, who is the Controller General of Patents. Shri Gibson Mirandaji, who is the Executive Engineer, who has come from Goa. So I think now we can pass it on to Professor Ishikawa Tatsuya-ji for his keynote address. Yeah, would you like to go there? Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, everyone. I'm Tatsuya Ishikawa, Hokkaido University from Japan. First of all, I'd like to extend my sincere thanks to the invitation to this excellent conference. I'm so pleased to be with you and to attend this conference, and also to have an opportunity to introduce our researches. Today, I'd like to introduce the Japanese early warning system for rainfall-induced landslide. which considers both the long-term rainfall index and a short-term rainfall index. Then I also would like to introduce the future research assignment under the climate change to improve the applicability and precision of the early warning system. Okay, first, I'd like to introduce the background of this research. Okay. And at first, I'd like to maybe you well know the 2013 North India flood and the one in the 100-year flooding in 2018 over Kerala, example of catastrophic rainfall-induced landslide in India. The most recent one being the 2023 North India flood in Himalaya Pradesh. So in Japan, typhoon-induced extreme rainfall driven the geo-disaster, such as shown in this figure, in this slide. For example, shallow landslide and debris flow are increasing under changing the climate scenario. So this slide shows the one example. In the damaged area between the Hidaka area to the Shimizu area, along the National Highway Route 274, we observed 10 bridge damage and 3 snow shed damage and 6 road pavement severe damages and 47 cut and embankment collapse were observed. Total spot damage spot are 66 locations. Owing to the extensive damage, this road was closed for 1 year. So in Hokkaido, Hokkaido is a north area of Japan. Then we also have the snow melt-induced slope area. Snow melting season in Hokkaido is from March to May. About 40% of the small to large slope area occur during this season. The effect of the snow melt water is severe and for the slope stability in cold region. Therefore, we need to develop the precise prediction method for the slope stability problem by considering the effect of the snow melt water. Hokkaido is a cold and snowy island in the northern Japan. In winter, Hokkaido has a very cold temperature and more snow. For this reason, in Hokkaido, frequent slope failure occur during a snow melting season, as shown in this slide. However, due to the climate change, the number of the winter days is decreasing around 20 days in 100 years. And air temperature may increase around 2.4 degrees Celsius in 100 years. This will cause uneven distribution of snow and increasing the snow melt water. In addition, the number of torrential rainstorm over the 30 millimeters per hour is increasing. At the end of the 21st century, annual rainfall is expected to jump by an average 10% in Hokkaido number of the rapid snow melt by rainfall also being increasing. We call this phenomena rain on snow. By the end of this century, Hokkaido can expect more rain, less snow, and about a month of additional summer days because of the global warming. Next, I'd like to introduce the existing early warning system for the rainfall-induced landslide in Japan. It is very challenging to implement such a system in a new global, new geological setting. For example, in Himalaya or the Western Ghats in India, with limited comprehensive historical record of landslide and precipitation. This is an overview of TELEWS. From this figure, it turned out the rainfall is recognized trigger of the landslide. And researchers have long attempted to determine the amount of precipitation needed to trigger the slope failure. This figure summarizes the warning criteria for rainfall-induced landslide proposed by many researchers worldwide. In general, macro index for the prediction of rainfall-induced landslide adopt the relationship between the short-term rainfall index and long-term rainfall index. Intensity and duration, namely ID, threshold set at many places across the globe. As we can see, there is not one threshold that applies to all the places.
Professor Ishikawa, can we request you to conclude in
Okay,
2 minutes?
sorry.
Sorry, we don't have much time.
Okay, okay. A brief of the TLEWS in Japan. This is a novel method and has advantage for the landslide prediction as it considers the hydrology of the terrain. So maybe this is a conceptual concept of the TLEWS in Japan. Maybe and we use the weather radar to estimate the rainfall. And we using the radar data, maybe we will estimate the soil water index as a long-term index. And then maybe if we use this system, we can precisely predict the slope failure for the heavy rainfall. But it is difficult to predict the snow melt induced landslide. Then we developed the new method. Using this method, maybe we can precisely predict the snow melt induced landslide. And also, we also apply this method to the prediction of the heavy rainfall induced landslide. Then summarize maybe I will skip the future assignment, but maybe is one of the future assignment. Maybe we need to consider the influence of precipitation habitation on the behavior of soil ground, and also maybe examine the influence of the dramatic snow melt caused by the rain on snow and on the slope stability. Sorry. And then I conclude my talk. So maybe For promoting the disaster prevention and mitigation measures of the civil engineering structure with long service lifespan against the geodisaster in Hokkaido under unprecedented rainfall caused by the recent climate change, it is necessary to continuously conduct the various study on the potential risk of the never experienced geodisaster to upgrade the conventional design and prediction method. Besides, it is essential to establish the framework at earliest in which the industry, government, and academia can work together on the technical and social issue concerning the large-scale geodisaster prevention discussed in this study. So in this case, there is a requirement to further study the influence of climate change on the geodisaster in snowy cold region. So concrete measure should be drafted and implemented in the future while incorporating the suggestion and recommendation provided in this study. So this is a reference, and thank you for your kind attention. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Ishikawa. Thank you for sharing your experiences and the experience of Japan. This is one of the good practices perhaps we also should follow. Now I'll request Professor Teshome Tamirat to share his experience. He comes from Addis Ababa, so I think his experience will benefit us. Thank you. Prof, if I can request you to restrict yourself to. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, everyone. My name is Teshome Tamrat. I'm from Ethiopia. My presentation really talks on disaster risk governance strategy in Ethiopia. My point is I'll talk on the governance structure, how the institution is implementing DRR in Ethiopia. And we have also developed a national strategy for mitigation of disasters following the Sendai framework. So I'll talk on these 2 points. Ethiopia, amongst development countries, we are really been affected by man-made and natural disasters. Out of the many disasters that we are exercising, drought is a very important issue for us. For instance, this current year, we have been affected by severe drought. So we have almost estimated about 20 million pastoral community have been affected by drought. This drought have been happened because of the climate change impact, in fact. So regionally, Kenya and Somalia also have been affected by such kind of drought. The loss of livestock is many in terms of numbers. So the Federal Disaster Reduction and Management Commission is an institution mandated to handle the situation of disaster-related risk. This is the governance structure that we have at federal level. We also have regional offices as well, which are working together with the federal institution. So Ethiopia has designed inclusive strategy for women, disabilities, and marginalized people in disaster-prone areas. The mandate of this institution is implementing Disaster Risk Management Commission. This is an institution enables to withstand impacts of hazard and related disasters, establish effective and people-centered, inclusive, decentralized disaster management system. So the federal institution will guide the regions in a very well-coordinated manner. Our approach is multi-sectoral approach because we are include agriculture, forestry, health, education, all in the lowland and pastoral areas to mitigate, to apply this strategy for the implementation. The strategy designed in 2017 following the Sendai framework, so that it has 7 main strategic goals that is mainly deals with to strengthen resilience through science-based methodologies to cope with disaster and losses. The second strategic goal emphasizes on disaster risk assessment, where we deal with areas that are hotspot areas potentially liable to disasters. The third strategic, we know this, following this strategic direction, we design project programs so that we can implement in areas where we have been affected by floods or droughts. So the third is promote enhanced international cooperation, including technology transfer, promote effective partnership with scientific and technology community through experience sharing, development of local, national, and regional exchange information on good practices. We know that we have seen India has a very good practice that will take a lot of experience from India, where we are going to apply to our national situations. Develop public awareness education existing disasters and establish strong early warning system. This is a very crucial issue because it's needs technology. We lost so many lives of livestock because we don't have a strong early warning system. So we need to learn on that more and share our experience to our country as well. The expected output from this implementation of the strategy would be to reduce eventually prevent the disaster risk and vulnerability to address underlying factor of recurrent disasters. You know, the frequency of happening of drought in Ethiopia and the regional countries have become very short and it's becoming recurrent. So we need to have to address through the strategy, designing sustainable projects and programs that really would mitigate the risks. So to ensure lives and protect lives, protect all disaster affected population, to provide with recovery and rehabilitation assistance, we need so many private and public investments have to be pulled down to whenever the disaster happens. So to reduce dependency and expectation from relief, we have to strive for long-term solutions. We need to aware that this disaster is coming every year, so that we need to have a program so that we can mitigate it rather than considering it as a risk to build the resilience of vulnerable people. So in conclusion, the major component of the Federal Democratic Republic disaster risk management policy are aligned with the Sendai framework. We strive for reducing climate change mitigation. This is the real impact that have brought drought in Ethiopia and the region as well. So how we are going to cope up, we are working on the negotiations on UNFCCC to pull every resource that we have and the technologies that we are going to seek to implement in our country at national scale. We have to have also the national adaptation plan, which is really important to adapt to this risk as well. Create better alignment to Sendai framework with the national strategy. And we need to implement this strategy. There should be a strong stakeholder cooperation. Multi-stakeholder approach is there. Many ministries should have to be cooperated and cooperated to realize Ethiopian DRR strategy. So this is all I have for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Professor Tamirat. I think the questions can be taken later on if the audience has the questions. Now I'll request Mr. Joshen Ramke come and give his thoughts.
Morning, everyone. Thank you for the invitation, part of this conference. I want to make it short because I know we don't have that much time. I think the main focus, what we heard so far, is how we address the issues we're having due to climate change, respect of risk reduction, risk approach. But I think also in part of the cooperation we are having as GIZ or the German government with India, is the holistic approach, because it's more like, say, we need the smart cities, we need the critical infrastructure considerations, we need approaches, we need, for instance, very much also the awareness of the climate change within the communities and population, and to address those. And what we have done is during the last negotiations between the German and Indian government is to focus on all three major approaches. And our main obstacle is climate change adaptation mitigation, as well as smart cities, as well as vocational training. And during these negotiations, Germany has decided to for the coming year spend 980 million euros as a corporation fee in order to drive and focus on all these obstacles. And we have heard so many very important sessions, and our idea is to extract and use as much as possible of those in order really to face and to reduce the impacts on us people, us humans, and especially with the focus on the most vulnerable ones, because I think if you see the impacts on the small villages, reducing the possibilities of having then the necessities in order to live with those, this is the major features. And we are very happy that we can continue this work together with the Indian government. And I thank you all for bringing all your concept ideas into this. And we hope that in the next few years, we will strong enough to challenge together this approach. Many, many thanks.
Thank you very much, Mr. Joshil, for such a short and crisp point of view. Now, I would like to request Mr. Elshan Amdov. Please come.
Thank you very much. I'm coming from Azerbaijan. I'd like firstly to express my gratitude to the Indian government, government of Uttarakhand, president of this beautiful university. He gives us such an opportunity to be here, and distinguished our professors, chair, co-chairs, guests, fellow panelists. It is big honor to me to be in India. India occupies very important place in the world map as geopolitically and geoeconomically. So India's contributions to the world sustainable development goal will be huge with its beautiful culture and with its huge population. In the face of such challenges in the world, an inclusive approach is very important. We must work together to develop effective disaster management strategies that can mitigate the impact of these events and help affected communities recover as quickly as possible. Investing in infrastructure and systems that can withstand the impact of disasters and enable rapid recovery. It also means supporting affected communities in rebuilding their homes, businesses, and livelihoods. I would like to emphasize that another important factor is cooperation. Disaster management requires a coordinated efforts, as in the previous panels discussed my dear colleagues. So I want to jump to my other slide, considering the time. One of the critical components of disaster management also is water. Access to safe and clean water is essential for the survival and well-being of affected communities. In the aftermath of a disaster, water resources may become contaminated or dispersed. Overall, water management is an internal part of disaster management strategies to ensure the safety and well-being of affected communities. Okay. To assess how efficiently water resources are used in any country, the statistical database of the World Bank shows water productivity, total GDP per cubic meter of total freshwater withdrawal. In other words, we can say how many United States dollar in constant GDP the countries get for each cubic meter of total fresh water. I put it here some countries by a random method, except of India and Azerbaijan. I divided those countries into the groups, most sustainable water use countries, medium sustainable water use countries, less sustainable water use countries, and less sustainable use countries. For example, if you see to the table, Monaco, Luxembourg, Maldives are the most sustainable water use countries. Qatar, Israel, Germany are the medium sustainable water use countries. France, Poland, Russia, Turkey are the medium sustainable use water countries. Unfortunately, we see in the table, it is the World Bank's statistics that India and Azerbaijan are less sustainable water use countries. So we have much more to do, work together in this direction to make our water more sustainable. Also, I wanted to put here South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation countries. Its GDP per cubic meter of total freshwater withdrawal. Just Maldives, we can say that it has a medium sustainable water use. Other countries, unfortunately, uses their waters not sustainable or less sustainable. So I wanted to emphasize to this fact. So what can we do to sustain our water use? It will be better to be a part of the world international organizations and the part of the Water Convention. A Water Convention, a legal and institutional framework for water cooperation contributing to sustainable development, international peace and security. It is a unique platform to discuss the progress of water use cooperation worldwide under umbrella of the United Nations. Opened to all interested countries, with more than 130 countries exchanging experiences and knowledge to prompt progress in cooperation. If you will see this table, this is a status of individual East Europe and Caucasus and Central Asia countries concerning accession to the Water Convention and the Protocol on Water and Health. I just put it to these countries, also added the India. For example, I am coming from Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan is a downstream country. We supply 80% of our water resources.
Mr.
By
Ahmedov, I think
transboundary
you will
waters.
have to rush.
Yes,
Please conclude
okay.
in 2 minutes.
Okay. So one of the important factors is to have an access to the Water Convention and the Protocol of Water and Health. What it will give us, just by one question, so it's supporting to achievement the Sustainable Development Goal, developed institutional platforms, improved management of transboundary waters, support from the community at parties, improvement of water management at the national level. Just for conclusion, I would like to take your attention to the actions that could be taken. For example, in European Union, we know the Europe Water Framework Directive. They use the main action plan and supporting action plan to realize their plan and programs. Here I put it the measures and other measures, taking into account the time limits. I would like to thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Elshan Amdo. May I now request Professor Unnat Panditji, and I'll request him to keep it brief because the minister has already arrived. So I think you may take 5 to 6 minutes and then.
We'll save some time going there also. I'm going to touch upon little different dimension in the risk management. The innovation and intellectual property driven solution design and the different financial framework for the risk management. Whenever any disaster happens, we are in scout of the technology or solutions which is available and which may address this disaster. So whenever action happens, then we are expecting the desired result to come out. But unfortunately, it may work, it may not work. Like we have seen that most sophisticated instruments were also used, but it has taken a time. And whatever the traditional practice, which we call it as jugaad, that has worked. But then that was stopped at one point in time because of the risk involved into that. But we have never ever thought that even though the risk is involved, how this traditional mining can become a risk free and also make it sophisticated with the most effective equipments. So there was a need on technological upgradation into this traditional practice, which people may call it a jugaad, but this is not a jugaad. This is a real innovation, which is best into the practice. And this has offered us the solution. We have seen this in the tunnel rescue operation. But now it's a time for all of us to think about making all such kind of solutions or techniques equipped with the technological equipments. And while we are doing it so, the role of intellectual property and innovation plays important. And all researchers need to study these techniques and make this risk-free and offer them the most advanced and sophisticated equipments. And while doing it so, financial investment plays a major role here. And while we are trying to bring this into the practice, this will require the most advanced mode of investment supported by the government, because government should be the first buyer as per I feel it, that this is something which is the essential need and government need to have this. The training and education to the disaster team also need to be planned in effective mode to use this kind of equipment. And maybe that is in need of the government buying, and government buying can be done most effectively. We need to have a resilient focused investment into the government, certain funds for the IP innovation or challenges which is required to design this kind of a solution may also be given to the engineering students. Most of the IIT and NIT students are working on the problem statements, which is for the commercial activities, but this is equally a most essential commercial need. And I think we need to design a problem statement keeping in view this kind of a technological upgradation. And another aspect is also on financially the insurance into the innovation. The kind of disaster insurance schemes or the kind of policy framework which is designed, I think this is also in need of a complete revamp or need to think from the different standing position, need the incentivization in the sustainable growth so that we are not landing up into the disaster. My friend from Japan has also reported few Indian disaster. My Dr. Elsan has also mentioned about the food and the related challenges, which was he has beautifully shown the entire graph. Why the disaster resilience is and the noise is going up? Because we are not keeping the balance into the climate or into the sustainable use of the natural resources. So that is equally need to have this and need to incentivize the kind of a people or technology using a less carbon footprint should be incentivized enough so that people are more tempted to develop, design and use this kind of a solution. I think this is the various modes to address the risk management and IP innovation and the financial aspect need to have a equal balance in all the three. So many points are yet to be discussed, but looking into the time constraint, I would like to take a pause here. Thank you.
Good morning, respected Chair, Dr. Sanjay ji, respected Co-Chair, Dr. Sudha ji, and Professor Samantha ji, keynote speaker, panelists, and everyone in the audience. It is a pleasure to meet you all. I am Gibson Miranda, working at Water Resource Department, Government of Goa. It is an honor to present today on behalf of my state. Before I begin, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to Honorable Prime Minister of India, the Honorable Chief Minister of Uttarakhand, and the organizer for the excellent arrangement and hospitality. The core topic for today's discussion is inclusive framework for risk governance. As everyone are aware, Goa is a small state bounded by Western Ghats and the Arabian Sea with coastline of about 135 kilometers. I am proud to say that Goa state has successfully completed NCRP Phase 2 project. The NCRP Phase 2 project consists of 3 components, which we'll see in brief. The component A, early warning decimation system. The early warning decimation system primarily consists of 2 components. One is emergency centers, and second one is erection of siren towers. And we are proud to say we have installed 37 siren towers along the coastline of Goa. How this works? Upon the information of the upcoming cyclone or any other disaster, the system is activated at SEOC and siren gets triggered all 37 locations simultaneously with pre-recording messages which are audible up to 2 to 3 kilometers. And this will help to save lives, especially of fishermen communities. I'll just show you the small demo how the system works.
Attention, tsunami alert. Keep away from the beach. Attention, tsunami alert. Keep away from the beach.
Since we don't have time, I'll just read it. Then our second component, multi-purpose cyclone shelter. We have constructed 11 cyclone shelters in coastal area to reduce vulnerability of coastal community with cyclone-related disaster by creating world-class infrastructure. I won't go in detail, it will take time. Then in component B, we have also done underground cabling work. That work was carried by Goa Electricity Department. And then we have also, in component C, we have also provided capacity building training and shelter level equipment. And finally, before I conclude, I would like to give my sincere thanks to the Honorable Chief Minister of Goa, the Revenue Department, and Chief Engineer of Water Resources Department for their support and guidance from time to time. I also acknowledge the efforts and cooperation of my entire team, including Mr. Sandesh Tari, who is present here. I also like to thank NDMA for their support. And finally, I'll conclude by saying, ना मोहब्बत ना दोस्ती के लिए वक्त रुकता नहीं किसी के लिए अपने दिल को ना दुखा दिए ही इस जमाने के बेरुखी के लिए वक्त के साथ चलते रहे यही है बेहतर लोगों के लिए जय हिंद
Thank you very much, Mr. Miranda. So it was a great session where we got experiences from Japan to Ethiopia, Germany, and Azerbaijan. And Mr. Pandit added a new dimension of innovation in the risk management. I think I also wanted to say the same thing which you have raised, that we need to adapt technology. The technology advancements are there, and this is the time when we do not know when the technology is creeping into our day-to-day life. So technology is essential. It has become part and parcel of our day-to-day life. But yes, we should not forget the traditional values and the traditional techniques. With this, we conclude, and we thank all the panelists, all the audience, and my co-chairs. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I would now request Dr. Ray to present a memento and certificate to our esteemed guest. First, Dr. Sanjay Jasola. I would now request Dr. Sanjay Jasola to please present the memento and the certificate to our guests. Professor S.D. Samantha Ray. Professor Sudha Arora. Dr. Teshom Tamirat. Mr. Jokhin Ramke. Dr. Elshin. Professor Unnat P. Pandit. Shri Gibson Miranda. And last but not the least, Professor Tatsuyu Ishikawa. Thank you so much.
Now the stage will be prepared for the valedictory ceremony. I want to thank our eminent panelists. We have given you very little time, but we will interact with them and draw more of their expertise. Please, I request all the panelists to come to the front. There will be a group picture. There will be a tea break, and in next half an hour, this hall will be prepared for the valedictory. Thank you very much.
Hello. Dr. Sharon Shahjahan Naomi from Kriya University, Bangladesh. If you are here, please come to the stage. Dr. Sharon Shahjahan Naomi from Bangladesh. Dr. Sharon Shahjahan from Bangladesh.
Just all students, volunteers, members of faculty, staff, and members of organizing committee of WCDM. Please take your respective seats. I have received a signal that His Excellency, the Governor of Uttarakhand, is about to reach. We'll start dot on time. So please, I request all of you, मैं सभागार में उपस्थित और उसके बाहर खड़े हुए देवियों सज्जनों से अनुरोध करता हूं कि वे कृपया हॉल में अपना स्थान ग्रहण करें. Bhavya, good afternoon. I want this live when the guest of honors and the chief guest arrives on the venue. I want it live backstage so that I can sound the people sitting here. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a gentle request and requirement that during the entire program, since His Excellency is here, especially the students, volunteers, they are not required to move. They are required to remain seated. The organizing committee volunteers and the faculty to please take care. Thank you. इसका वॉल्यूम थोड़ा सा ऊपर कीजिए. मेन. चेक. ज्यादा एको मत करना. हाँ ठीक है. इट्स ओके. I request all of you to please take your respective seats. Even volunteers, if you find a place you can sit, because in the hall where the dignitaries are there, you are not supposed to stand. Please take your seats. Hello. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. नमस्कार देवियों और सज्जनों. आज की इस सभा के माननीय मुख्य अतिथि महामहिम राज्यपाल उत्तराखंड और माननीय विशिष्ट अतिथि माननीय केंद्रीय कैबिनेट मंत्री रिजिजू जी सभागार में पधार चुके हैं. मैं आपसे अनुरोध करता हूं कि कृपया हॉल में अपना अपना स्थान ग्रहण कर लें. I request all students, student volunteers, everybody to find a place and sit. Within no time from now, we are going to start the function. I requested the PCR team to get it live for me so that I can sound the audience. Please get it live from the porch of the convention center. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Within no time, we are expecting the chief guest and the honorable guests of honor for this valedictory function. I request all of you, those who are standing inside the hall, to please find a chair for themselves and take a seat. मैं सभागार में उपस्थित सभी देवियों और सज्जनों, ऑर्गेनाइजिंग कमेटी के मेंबर्स, वॉलेंटियर सभी से अनुरोध करता हूं कि कृपया अपने अपने स्थान पर बैठ जाएं। Within no time we are going to start this function. Honorable Chief Guest for today's function, Lieutenant General Gurmeet Singh, Honorable Governor of Uttarakhand is expected. We are about to start the program. मैं आपसे अनुरोध करता हूं कि कृपया अपने अपने स्थान पर बैठ जाएं और मैं स्टूडेंट फ्रेटर्निटी से ये रिक्वेस्ट करता हूं कि एट द टाइम ऑफ द गवर्नर्स प्रेजेंस इनसाइड द हॉल नो मूवमेंट इज अलाउड. Volunteers and faculty members are requested to please take care. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Honorable Chief Guest for today's valedictory function, Honorable Guest of Honor for today's valedictory function. I request all of you to please settle at your place, please. I request, ladies and gentlemen, all of you, dignitaries on the dais and off the dais, to kindly rise and join us at the national anthem. भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंग विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंग तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे. मैं उत्तराखंड देहरादून से और उत्तराखंड के माननीय राज्यसभा सांसद श्री नरेश बंसल जी को मंच पर उनकी उपस्थिति हेतु आमंत्रित करता हूं. माननीय श्री नरेश बंसल जी. With the permission of Honorable Chair, am I allowed to start? वीर भोग्य वसुंधरा माँ भारती के हिमकिरीट नगाधिराज हिमालय की गोद में स्थित उत्तराखंड राज्य की राजधानी देहरादून में स्थित माँ सरस्वती के आशीर्वाद से अभिसिंचित पुष्पित व पल्लवित विद्या के इस पावन प्रांगण में 6वीं वर्ल्ड कांग्रेस ऑन डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट के समापन समारोह के इस अद्भुत, अप्रतिम और पावन अवसर पर आप सभी का हार्दिक अभिनंदन, आप सभी का हार्दिक अभिवादन, आप सभी का हार्दिक अभिवंदन। सभागार में उपस्थित आज के इस वैलेडिक्टरी सेशन के मुख्य अतिथि महामहिम राज्यपाल उत्तराखंड लेफ्टिनेंट जनरल गुरमीत सिंह, पीवीएसएम, यूवीएसएम, एवीएसएम, सभागार में उपस्थित ऑनरेबल गेस्ट ऑफ ऑनर, ऑनरेबल यूनियन मिनिस्टर अर्थ साइंसेस गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया श्री किरण रिजिजू, गेस्ट ऑफ ऑनर एडमिरल डी.के. जोशी, ऑनरेबल लेफ्टिनेंट गवर्नर अंडमान एंड निकोबार, dignitaries on the dais, of the dais, delegates, representatives from across the world, presenters, scientists, earth workers, faculty members, staff and students of Graphic Era, and the members of the organizing committee of 6th World Congress on Disaster Management. It is an immense pleasure and a moment of pride that we are here at the culmination of this 6th World Congress on Disaster Management. It was a wonderfully organized event under the flagship of the government of Uttarakhand, under the able leadership of Honorable Governor, Honorable Chief Guest, and other members of the organizing committee. A huge round of applause for all of us, sir. भारतीय परंपरा अनुसार अब हम अपने अतिथियों का स्वागत पुष्पगुच्छ से करेंगे। I request Dr. Durgesh Panji to kindly coordinate. We honor our chief guest and other dignitaries on the dais with a bouquet of flowers, a traditional Uttarakhand cap, and a book, Resilient India, How Modi Transformed India's Disaster Management Paradigm. This book was unveiled in the inaugural session, sir. This book is based upon the Prime Minister's zeal, his all efforts, and his wisdom on managing the disaster. माननीय महोदय, यह पुस्तक माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के अनुभवों पर आधारित एक संकलन है, जिसमें डिजास्टर को हराने की, उससे आगे निकलने की और उसके आगे जाकर के अच्छे जीवन के प्रति अपने आप को समर्पित रूप से तैयार रखने की सारी विधाओं का वर्णन किया गया है। Thank you so much, sir. Now I invite Honorable Secretary, USDMS Government of Uttarakhand and Chairman of 6th WCDM, Dr. Ranjit Kumar Sinha, for his welcome address.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of every citizen of Uttarakhand, state government, and all those who have suffered to build a better Uttarakhand and better India. I extend a warm welcome to our chief guest, Honorable Lieutenant General Gurmeet Singh, PVSM, UYSM, AVSM, VSM, Honorable Governor of Uttarakhand. To our guest of honor, Sri Kiran Rijiju, Honorable Minister, Earth Sciences, Government of India. To our guest of honor, Admiral D.K. Joshi, Lieutenant Governor, Andaman Nicobar. Sir, we were preparing for this 6 WCDM in the shadow of Silkyara incident. And by grace of God, the day we started this 6 WCDM incident, we got through the tunnel and we were able to get all trapped personals outside. It was a acme of coordination among different institutions in any one incident I've ever seen. Even international agencies were also involved. All national agencies, state government, Government of India, everybody on toes. It was in the leadership of our Honorable Chief Minister, Sri Pushkar Singh Dhame ji. Even PMO and Honorable Prime Minister was in constant touch with us so that we can get through the incident. I also welcome all the delegates who have traveled from far places to participate in this Congress, the 6 WCDM. You have engaged with us, you have engaged among yourselves to brainstorm ideas about how to manage and how to mitigate any disaster. Sir, a lot of ideas have been floated, discussed, brainstormed, and their work is over now. Our work now starts. It is our job to, decipher the idea, how an idea can fit into our system and get implemented. So thank you so much for your participation and your enthusiastic participation. I also welcome our Honorable Member of Parliament, Sri Naresh Bansalji, for his participation in this valedictory session. I think everyone present here participated and enabled us to write a better future for Uttarakhand, because we, as a hilly state, mountainous state, facing a lot of issues regarding disaster. We all know Himalayan ranges are very new mountain, still rising, reforming. So it's natural, we will face something, but when you build a better Uttarakhand, better nation, disaster can happen. Now it is up to us how better we can mitigate and manage the disaster to build a better, safe and resilient Uttarakhand. Farewell, wherever you are, and you have safe journey back to your home and places. Thank you, one and all. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. अब मैं माननीय श्री नरेश बंसल जी, सदस्य राज्यसभा, से अनुरोध करता हूं कि वे उत्तराखंड राज्य और उत्तराखंड की जनता की तरफ से हम सभी को एक सूक्ष्म आशीर्वाद प्रदान करें। माननीय श्री नरेश बंसल जी।
आपदा प्रबंधन पर पिछले 4-5 दिनों से चल रही कार्यशाला के समापन पर मंच पर उपस्थित हमारे प्रदेश के राज्यपाल लेफ्टिनेंट जनरल रिटायर्ड गुरमीत सिंह जी, एक अन्य राज्य के हमारे यशस्वी राज्यपाल, उनका भी मैं उत्तराखंड की देवभूमि में अभिनंदन करता हूं। हमारे यशस्वी केंद्र में मंत्री हमारे बड़े भाई किरण रिजिजू जी, उनका मैं देवभूमि में हृदय की गहराइयों से स्वागत करता हूं। और उत्तराखंड के आपदा प्रबंधन के सेक्रेटरी श्री रंजीत सिन्हा जी, अन्य अधिकारीगण, ग्राफिकेरा के चांसलर श्री कमल घनसाला जी और उपस्थित सभी इस अंतर्राष्ट्रीय कॉन्फ्रेंस में आए हुए महानुभाव, जिन्होंने पिछले 3-4 दिनों में बैठ करके उन परिस्थितियों में यहाँ पर आपदा प्रबंधन का अध्ययन किया, विचार विमर्श किया। जो चुनौतियां आज बदलते परिवेश में देश ही नहीं पूरे अंतर्राष्ट्रीय जगत के सामने हैं। अभी अभी उत्तराखंड ने, मैं समझता हूं, विश्व का सबसे बड़ा रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन चिलक्यारा की सुरंग का सफलतापूर्वक किया है। हमारे राज्यपाल जी भी वहां ग्राउंड जीरो पर गए थे। एक अद्भुत ऑपरेशन वो 18 दिन का था, जिसमें मजदूरों को जीवन और मृत्यु का संघर्ष, धैर्य की परीक्षा, सारी जो टेक्नोलॉजी उपलब्ध है उसका समन्वय और उसके साथ साथ आस्था का भी समन्वय, बाबा भोगनाथ की जिस प्रकार से सबने प्रार्थना की और उसका परिणाम सफल निकला, उसके लिए भी सबको बधाई है। हमारे मुख्यमंत्री जी ने वहां पर जीरो ग्राउंड पर रह करके जिस प्रकार से सारा समन्वय किया, प्रबंधन किया, सारी टेक्नोलॉजी को जुटाया और सारे प्रदेशवासियों ने उसमें अपने शुभकामनाएं, अपनी प्रार्थनाएं उनके लिए दी। मैं देवभूमि में आप सबका स्वागत करते हुए इतना ही निवेदन करना चाहता हूं कि उत्तराखंड में आपदा कोई नई बात नहीं। आपदाएं यहां आती रहती हैं और उनसे जूझने के भी हम आदी हो गए हैं। लेकिन फिर भी 2 चीजों पर ध्यान दिया जाना जरूरी है कि एक तो आपदाएं कम से कम कैसे आए और आ जाएं तो उनसे निपटा कैसे जाए। चिलक्यारा का ये अनुभव, मैं समझता हूं कि मैकेनिकल और टनल इंजीनियरिंग के छात्रों को भविष्य में एक अध्याय के रूप में उनका मार्गदर्शन करेगा कि ऐसी चुनौतियों से कैसे निपटा जा सकता है। बदलता हुआ जो विश्व का पर्यावरण है, जिसमें सारे देश कोशिश कर रहे हैं जीरो एमिशन की, हमने भी कहा है 2070 तक लाएंगे। उन सब परिस्थितियों पर आपने विचार किया ही होगा और उसका जो भी कुछ मंथन निकला होगा, मैं समझता हूं वो देश के लिए बहुत ही परिणामकारी होगा। पुनः एक बार फिर आप सबका अभिनंदन, स्वागत, धन्यवाद। जय भारत, जय केदारनाथ।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, sir. We clearly understand now that we have to strike a balance, a very positive and strong balance between ecology, economy, the development, and disaster. With these words, I would like to now invite on stage Professor Durgesh Pant, Director General UCOST, the Chairman, Scientific and Technical Committee for 6th WCDM, for present a brief report.
Good afternoon to you all. Honorable Governor, Lieutenant General Gurmeet Singh Ji, our Honorable Cabinet Minister, Sri Kiran Rijiju, our Lieutenant Governor, Admiral Sri Joshi Ji, our Secretary, Disaster Management Department, Dr. Ranjit Sinha, Convener, Dr. Anand Babu, and Graphic Garage Chairman, and all those delegates, experts, plenary experts, speakers, they have come from all across the world, from all the continents, and from more than 51 countries, since the representation was there. And online, there were close to, so it was represented by about 70 countries, this World Congress. So it is a phenomenal success with regard to WCDM. Applaud and salutations to all. And as our Secretary Sahab is mentioned, it was in the wake of this Silkara, this crisis. And look at the bounty of God, the kindness of God. The day it started, the very same day it got resolved out here. So again, it is the power of divinity. It is the power of collective prayers of all these people from across the world. I'll read out, I'll be brief, because there were a number of, over 4 days, there were sessions, more than 60 sessions, special sessions, inclusive sessions. There were so many special features, those were planned, and those were so beautifully executed. I'll read out quickly. The 6th World Congress on Disaster Management was jointly organized by the Uttarakhand State Disaster Management Authority, DMICS, Hyderabad, State Council for Science Technology, Dehradun, from 28th of November to 1st December. And the theme was strengthening climate action resilience with a special focus on mountain ecosystem and communities. This World Congress provided a large platform for researchers, policymakers, and practitioners from over 50 countries who deliberated on various issues. All the plenaries, special technical sessions, special feature events, poster presentations, and other events were planned and executed by the Scientific Technical Committee. And altogether, there was 6 plenary sessions, 20 special sessions, 6 special feature events, and 50 technical sessions. Over 600 researchers, practitioners, scholars, policymakers, and grassroots workers too participated in these events. For all the plenaries, special sessions, there was experts, those who delivered keynote addresses, and there was chairs, co-chairs, and they all participated in different panel discussions. The technical sessions were also grouped in 5 major thematic areas. Those were innovation in DRR and resilience, and how beautiful it is. Yesterday, we handed over our presidency to Brazil, and Brazil's representation was here out here. So DRR was the main working agenda for this thing. And again, how beautiful. Yesterday, COP28 started in Dubai. So South out here, we are handing it over to from India to Brazil. Other hand, Middle East, from Egypt, it has been handed over to Dubai. So starting from climate action to this thing, every single point was deliberated on all across. Now from this Himalayan state, this DRR movement will go all around everywhere. So there were abstracts we received, and out of those 250 were invited for presentations as full papers, and 46 poster presentations were there. Full length papers were also evaluated. There was a committee for this. External referees were there. In addition, oral presentations were there, and we had rapporteurs who now we will come out with a detailed report. Dr. Anand Babu, the convener of WCDM, finally, because they organize a function in which this awards and these certifications are provided to different states, to different presenters. So that will happen sometime later. And the faculty from all universities from across the country, they also served as reviewers, session coordinators, and volunteers. And one of the remarkable feature of this event was active participation from all the people, from top policymakers to grassroots level workers, volunteers, and students. It was an overwhelming response from the community-based organizations from the Indian Himalayan region, representing various states from Ladakh to Arunachal Pradesh. And with such tremendous response and participation, if you feel this event, this Congress has been a grand success, please respond with big applause if it is so. Can I play a 2-minute film which summarizes this entire event? 2-minute film. Thank you. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Devi और सज्जनों, the message is very clear. साथ लड़ेंगे, साथ रहेंगे, साथ जीतेंगे. Now I request Honorable Chief Guest and Guest of Honor for a small felicitation to Professor Ivan Davis, Adjunct Professor, ABB Kerala, Kyoto, Lund and Oxford Brookes University. Sir, he has contributed significantly towards the successful organization of this Congress. Professor Davis. Thank you so much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, till yesterday it was Sendai Declaration. Now today I invite Professor Durgesh Panji, DG UCOST, to kindly unveil and present the Dehradun Declaration of this 6th World Congress on Disaster Management. Sir.
Professor P.K. Joshi from JNU, can you please help me with? This is a Dehradun declaration that has come out of this 4-day deliberations. The preamble says the theme of the 6th WCDM was strengthening climate action and disaster resilience with a special focus on mountain ecosystems and communities. This World Congress reiterates the voices of the Himalaya as found in the Atharva Ved. Mata Bhumi Putroham Prithivya. Earth is my mother and I am her child. For us in India, the earth is sacred. The Himalaya is sacred. Our concern for ecology is our homage, our reverence to our mother, the earth. Recognition. This World Congress recognizes the challenges being posed by the youngest mountain systems in the world, the experiences of the local communities, and the voices dependent on these systems. The Himalaya has been known for frequent hazards and disasters, and the amplification of these by ongoing climate changes, the global crisis. The systems balanced in place and the active participation of the communities provide respite from such risks, hazards, and disasters. This World Congress proposes action items that the Himalayan states need to prioritize and which the entire mountain systems of the world can look towards. And these could as well be extended to other fragile and vulnerable systems. Action item. May I invite Professor Ian Davis, Lund and Oxford Brookes University, and also associate with Amrita University for strengthening disaster resilience. Opera.
Strengthening disaster resilient preparedness. The youth, the future leaders of the mountain states need special preparedness to strengthen disaster resilience. Towards achieving this goal, the school and college curriculum should have components which include disasters, disaster risk reduction, and disaster resilience. The vulnerable sections of society, such as children and women and elderly, they need special attention during disaster response. Now, to address this issue, the World Congress proposes to establish regulations and legislative frameworks. Inclusivity, including participation of differently able communities, has emerged as an important outcome of these deliberations. The need for developing a science of survival focused on this special group in particular and the entire population at large is a significant component of this outcome. And finally, the World Congress calls for special financial instruments through budget allocation or CSR identification towards disaster risk reduction and disaster resilience. And this should be applied to all kindred projects and their implementation. Thank you.
May I now invite Ms. Liam Ete from Arunachal Pradesh.
Protecting mountain ecosystem. This World Congress proposes to bring this special emphasis on ecosystem approaches for disaster reduction, risk reduction, and implementation of nature-based solution, nature climate solution customized in Himalayan region. Identification, recognition, and appreciation of local communities as experts and blending indigenous knowledge system with contemporary technology and prediction tools for better understanding of disasters and solution thereof. Fostering institutional collaboration for data information sharing to understand the intricacies, geological, hydrological, ecological, and social of Himalayan system for infrastructural development and project planning. Ensuring component of disaster risks and disaster reduction in environment impact assessment, EIA, during project implementation, customizing and re-emphasizing the concept of continuous monitoring and evaluation of ongoing projects.
Thank you, Liam. Now I invite Dr. Tobias Nakunti, UN Family, University of Nairobi, Kenya.
Empowering mountain communities. This World Congress proposes community engagement and education about the specific risks they face and to prepare them to respond to disasters. Extensive use of traditional knowledge and local language, culture for better understanding and participation. The Congress also proposes investment in community-based early warning systems that take into account local knowledge and involve community members in monitoring and responding to early warning signals. The Congress also proposes strengthening and diversifying livelihoods and livelihood systems to reduce dependence on vulnerable sectors and thus ensuring disaster preparedness, response, and recovery. The Congress also proposes facilitating creation of networks and partnerships between communities, self-help groups, government, non-governmental institutions, and other stakeholders to enhance collaboration for disaster resilient cultures and practices.
Thank you. Now I invite Professor Hemanti Ranasinghe, University of Sri Jayawardene, Pura, Sri Lanka.
It is advocating for policy integration. Advocate emphasis on policies and practices which focus on disaster risk reduction and strengthen timely disaster response. Establish a state-of-the-art Institute of Disaster Management focused on providing tailor-made, customized policies and action inputs for disaster risk resilience in Himalayas. The institute should be set up on a mission mode with instrumentations suitable for identifying, understanding, and developing required knowledge and database and information systems for disaster risk preparedness and reduction strategies. And finally, ensuring components of sustainable ecosystems, safe environment, and healthcare in case of emergencies and pandemics in the Himalayas. Thank you.
The last one, the concluding one, Dr. Shireen Sahajam Naomi, Career University, Bangladesh.
Commitment to innovation. Strengthening the Himalaya diligence and knowledge system to contribute to innovative approaches, methods, practices, and framework for a disaster resilient society. Collaborating and communicating the best practices of disaster risk resilience and response in tough, vulnerable, and fragile terrains. Encouraging startup and investing in entrepreneurship for developing new tools and application for emergencies and disaster risk resilience in the Himalaya. Developing innovative frameworks in the line with Silkayara model of resilience, recovery, and response for the Himalaya states and mountain ecosystem.
In witness, wherein the participants and organizers of this 6th WCDM affects their pledge to work tirelessly towards a resilient and sustainable future for the Himalayan communities, thereby contributing to the global endeavor for a safer and more secure world. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Now it is my present duty to invite on the dais Admiral D.K. Joshi, PVSM, AVSM, the Lieutenant Governor of Andaman and Nicobar Islands, an honorable guest of honor, for his brief address and blessings to the Congress.
Honorable Governor, Lieutenant General Gurmeet Singh Ji, Honorable Minister, Shri Kiran Rijiju Ji, in absentia, Honorable CM Shri Dhami Ji, Honorable Member of Parliament Shri Bansal Ji, Professor Kamal, Dr. Sinha, Professor Durgesh Pant, whom all of us have seen, was a prime driver insofar as the organizational aspects of the conference were concerned and was seen all over. Academics, scholars, distinguished delegates from more than 51 friendly foreign countries, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, I congratulate Uttarakhand government for the very successful conduct of the 6th World Congress on Disaster Management 2023. Physical participation of 51 countries and total attendance by 70 odd nations, including in the virtual mode, is in itself an achievement to be proud of. Doubly privileged to also have been the guest of honor during the inaugural session. It is an absolute honor to be part of the Dehradun Declaration, which I'm certain will prove to be a landmark milestone once all its linked papers are published, as Dr. Sinha has assured us. The recent multi-agency successful rescue of the Uttarakhand tunnel incident under close monitoring of Honorable Prime Minister and Uttarakhand government stands as a testament to the resilience, courage, and coordinated efforts of the local administration, defense forces, NDRF, first responders, and other participating agencies. The experience gained from this operation should be closely examined for incorporation into our broader strategy for disaster management. It also highlights the importance of investing in infrastructure that is resilient to natural disasters. Uttarakhand and its plucky residents have bounced back and displayed resilience despite countless natural disasters, including the Kedarnath tragedy, repeated cloudbursts, and landslides. Honorable PM's 10-point agenda on disaster risk reduction and his visionary approach to disaster management on various occasions like the COVID outbreak, Kashmir floods, Kutch earthquake, and the 1979 Morbi Dam breach inspires us towards creating a disaster resilient nation. Takeaways of this conference have been far too numerous. I would limit myself to mentioning a very few among them. During the plenary session 5, which I attended, it became abundantly clear that capacity building of human resources is the most important element of the planning for disaster risk reduction and developing resilience. Inclusiveness of the society through effective communications, developing local level field experts, and women empowerment are few significant phases of human dimension in disaster risk reduction approaches. Developing a pool of trained volunteers with different capabilities and abilities is the need of the hour, and India has taken this initiative in developing the Apada Mitras towards this goal. Two-way communications in capacity building approach also acts as feedback mechanism and is much required to bring local context for effective convergence. As became evident in one of the technical sessions, resilience must be strengthened with better technology. Our response to distressed bridges, for example, has been Bailey bridges of 1940 vintage, which today are choking our roads and becoming unsafe. The Uttarakhand government took a bold initiative to launch a new generation modular bridge in Sonprayag in 2016, which greatly improved and far more resilient responses. Stocking such bridges will improve disaster response, increase highway capacity, and pay immediate economic dividends. Such solutions must be explored. As mentioned by Professor Durgesh Pant, Uttarakhand's initiative of Science of Survival holds much promise, and I have no doubt that it will be developed to its logical conclusion to benefit disaster management functionaries globally. The impact of the disasters can be reduced with proactive actions. In this era of artificial intelligence, we should continue to emphasize upon innovative solutions for global coverage of early warning systems and integrating them with the local response systems. This global conference has focused on a three-pronged climate action strategy: the innovation to drive climate adaptive technologies, collaboration to develop climate resilient ecosystem, and communications to implement climate responsive practices will continue to drive our efforts for creating an effective disaster management regime. Community-based DRR, investment in research and development, resilient financial systems, risk assessment, sustainable natural resources management, strengthening social safety nets such as social protection programs and insurance schemes for vulnerable populations, and building partnerships for international cooperation is essential for disaster resilience. The 3M themes, that is mitigating disasters, managing risks in fragile ecosystems, and managing human-engineered conflicts, leads us to build the resilience of mountain ecosystems and communities by focusing on people ecology dynamics. This prestigious event has provided an excellent opportunity through plenary sessions, technical sessions, and special feature events to scientists, researchers, policymakers, and practitioners from around the globe towards strengthening climate action and disaster resilience with special focus on mountain ecosystems and communities. As we conclude this global event, I appeal to all of you to carry the lessons learned from both the discussions here and the real life situations like Silkyara Tunnel rescue operations. Let our collective commitment be a beacon of hope for a future where disasters are met not only with immediate relief, but also with a steadfast resolve to build back stronger and safer. I urge everyone to be a part of this journey towards realizing the Viksit Bharat vision of Honorable Prime Minister of India through a disaster resilient nation. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for your attention. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir. All of us, we are aware that the roadmap is clear. We have to take a conscious step and we have to be ready and prepared. Thank you so very much. Ladies and gentlemen, amongst us now we have the voice of young India, Honorable Shri Kiran Rijiju, Honorable Member of Parliament and a Cabinet Minister, is an Indian politician from Arunachal Pradesh, who is the Cabinet Minister of Earth Sciences in the Government of India since 2023, and a member of the Parliament in Lok Sabha from Arunachal West since 2014. Earlier, he has served as the Minister of State for Home Affairs, Minister of State for Minority Affairs, Minister of State's independent charge for Sports and Youth Affairs, and Law Minister in the Government of India. These portfolios, they suggest the power, the aggression, the humility, and the power of speech of the country. Sir, we are proud and privileged to have you here amongst us. I now request you for your address.
Namaskar. First of all, I'm grateful to the organizers for inviting me to this wonderful, the closing ceremony of the 6th World Congress on Disaster Management. We are fortunate to have the Honorable Governor of Uttarakhand, Lieutenant General Gurmeet Singh Ji, who is the chief guest for this function. Honorable Lieutenant Governor of Andaman and Nicobar, Admiral D.K. Joshi Ji, my colleague, Member of Parliament, Naresh Bansal Ji, the Secretary of Uttarakhand Disaster Management Authority, Dr. Ranjit Kumar Sinha, the Chairman of Graphic Era Group of Institutions, Dr. Kamal Ghansala Ji, Director General of UCOST and the Chairman of the Scientific Committee of 6 WCDM, Dr. Durgesh Pantji, Convener of the 6th WCDM, Dr. Ananda Babuji, all the distinguished delegates coming from different countries who are our special guests during this conference, the distinguished scientists, researchers, all the experts and the stakeholders. My dear young student friends, ladies and gentlemen, this is a conference which is very scientific and very technical in nature. I have come with a as it is normally practiced with a prepared text. So after getting this report, the Dehradun Declaration 2023, 6th World Congress on Disaster Management. I've just quickly glanced through it, the preamble, recognition, and all the action plans. I thought I will depart from my tradition. I will not make a speech from my prepared draft because my draft speech will be overlapping, repetitions, and already which you have deliberated in details in last 3 days conference. And as I flip through the pages, you have exhaustively dwelt into details of all the relevant issues, not only for disaster management, but further going for disaster risk reduction. I have closely handled this ministry, this subject for a long time, especially when I was looking after the home ministry. So I was looking after the disaster management department. I had the fortunate of attending many of the international conference. And much before that, in 2005, when the National Disaster Management Act was passed by the Parliament of India, I was the first speaker in the Parliament in 2005 when this NDMA was enacted in the Parliament. After the Hugo framework, India became a signatory to the world commitment. So we have to adopt it internally as a nation state. And then after the Hugo framework, when we shifted to the Sendai Declaration, all those articles mentioned are being adopted. And it is very gladly mentioned by the Honorable Lieutenant Governor of the Andaman and Nicobar during his remark about the 10-point agenda mentioned by the Honorable Prime Minister. The 10-point agenda of the disaster risk reduction adopted by India during the Asian Ministerial Disaster Management Conference. I was the chairman of the Asian Ministerial Conference of Disaster Risk Reduction, and those 10 points which were propounded by the Honorable Prime Minister were adopted. So we are going very well, and I'm also glad that India is one of the first and few countries to adopt National Disaster Management Plan. We launched that in 2018. So if you see in the past and now, how India has emerged as a major nation in terms of providing not only relief and rehabilitation, but a leading nation for the coalition of the international disaster group. So we are aligned with many of the countries across the globe. And today, India is a leading nation in dispatching our team of experts wherever disaster happens. If you see how we are conducting our evacuations, the disaster teams which are professionally performing, one of the incident which we just saw recently in Uttarakhand, it is a matter of great pride and a relief that the rescue operation was conducted in such a professional manner despite so much of challenges. And finally, when we were having a cabinet meeting in Delhi, the Honorable Prime Minister informed that the operation is successful. I must compliment the government of Uttarakhand, the Honorable Governor, the Chief Minister, and the entire team for carrying out such a laudable, successful operation. And we all, the whole country, were much relieved. So when we talk about disaster conference like this, I think all the minds, like-minded thoughts have come together, which have formed this Dehradun Declaration. Now, if you see the situation, what we see around, the disasters are happening every now and then. And if you see the intensity, it is increasing day by day. Primarily, there are two reasons. One, the climatic behavior has become much more intense and unpredictable. Secondly, we human beings are going beyond our limited horizons. For example, if there is a flood, normal flood because of, say, cloud bursts or heavy rainfall, whatever, if it damages the properties, roads, bridges, if it takes away the lives of the people, then we treat it as a disaster. But if it happens normally, we don't treat it as a disaster. So human encroachment into the environment of the nature is conflicting the humans with the nature, resulting in huge disaster, which we call it disaster. Otherwise, if it doesn't hit us, we don't consider it as disaster. Similarly, now we have shifted from mere disaster management to disaster risk reduction. So the scientific approach is happening. We are integrating our policy with the disaster resilience. So I'm sure during this course of discussion, the action plans, the policies of the policymakers are to be sensitized. यहाँ कई बच्चे हैं ये यूनिवर्सिटी के, इतना शानदार यूनिवर्सिटी में आप लोग पढ़ते हैं, इतना खूबसूरत आपका यहाँ ऑडिटोरियम बना है. आपको इतना अगर जानकारी होगा कि पढ़ाई का अपना अपना क्षेत्र होता है, लेकिन डिजास्टर के बारे में, डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट, डिजास्टर रिस्क रिडक्शन, इसका जानकारी किसी को भी होना चाहिए. वो सब्जेक्ट मैटर ही नहीं है. तो मैं तो ये कहता हूं कि अब डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट को कम्युनिटी लेवल, लोकल लेवल तक ले जाना है. तो इतना शानदार यहाँ कॉन्फ्रेंस हो रहे हैं, तो इसका असर हर जगह, इसका प्रभाव होना चाहिए. आज भारत ऐसा एक मुकाम पर पहुंचा है कि लोग देखता है कि कोई भी प्राकृतिक आपदा आती है तो भारत इस पे बढ़ चढ़ करके हिस्सा लेंगे. आप पिछले 10 सालों में नरेंद्र मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में जितना भी रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशंस या जिस तरीके से हमने डिजास्टर को हैंडल किया है, आपको अंदाजा लग जाएगा कि भारत कितना मजबूत राष्ट्र के रूप में उभर के आया है. अभी हम लोग, जैसे मैंने कहा कि डिजास्टर में क्या होता है, नॉर्मली हम लोग सिर्फ सोचते हैं कि इसका सबसे पहले तो उसको बचाना है, रेस्क्यू करते हैं, फिर हम लोग रिलीफ देते हैं, फिर रिहेबिलिटेशन करते हैं. सो इनिशियली वी स्टार्टेड विद इमीडिएट रेस्क्यू, फिर उसको रिलीफ देना, फिर रिहेबिलिटेशन. नाउ इट्स आल्सो लॉन्ग टर्म रिकंस्ट्रक्शन. तो ये प्लान एक तरफ चलेगा, दूसरा तरफ मिटिगेशन का प्लान चलेगा. डिजास्टर रिस्क कि अगर अर्थक्वेक 7 पॉइंट रिक्टर स्केल में आया तो भी घर सेफ कैसा होना चाहिए. अगर यहाँ कोई प्राकृतिक आपदा बुरी तरह आया, हम अपने आप को बचाने के लिए पहले से तैयारी क्या करना चाहिए. हर सरकार का, हर डिपार्टमेंट का जो डेवलपमेंटल पॉलिसी है, उस पे डिजास्टर रेजिलियंस को किस तरह से अडॉप्ट करना है, ये सारा जो पैरेलली हमको आगे चलना पड़ेगा. नहीं तो एक आपदा आया, पूरा तबाही कर देगा. वन डिजास्टर, वन मेजर एक्टिविटीज ऑफ एनीथिंग कैन न्यूट्रलाइज होल अप्रोच, द होल एफर्ट्स ऑफ डेवलपमेंट. तो इसलिए जो बदलते हुए इस दुनिया में, मैं तो कभी कभी देखता हूं कि ये दुनिया कितना खतरनाक से ये डिजास्टर को आगे फेस करने वाले हैं. जैसे हम देहरादून में बैठे हैं या दिल्ली में बैठे हैं, हमको अंदाजा नहीं, हम क्लाइमेट चेंज, वेदर बिहेवियर के बारे में पढ़ते हैं, जानते हैं कि हाँ खतरा है, खतरनाक स्थिति को हम सामना कर रहे हैं. कितने लोग महसूस करते हैं. अभी मैं नॉर्थ पोल जाके आए, नया विभाग संभालने के बाद मैं आर्कटिक में गई. तो आर्कटिक में सी लेवल राइज का जो खतरा को देखते हुए, वहां जो आइस मेल्टिंग है नॉर्थ पोल का, उसको हम देखा, तो वो तो 3 गुना यहाँ जो आम बाकी अर्थ में, बाकी पृथ्वी में और जितना क्लाइमेट
वार्मिंग हो रहा है उससे 3 गुना ज्यादा वार्मिंग वहां आर्कटिक में हो रहा है। वहां लिमिटेड लाइफ है, लिमिटेड स्पेशीज है। एक का भी अगर नुकसान हो गया तो आपको पता चल जाता है कि हम बहुत खतरनाक दुनिया की ओर जा रहे हैं। 40 साल पहले जो जहां पूरा आइस रहते थे, आज वो आइस खत्म हो गया, वो सिर्फ पानी बन चुका है। और उम्मीद लोगों का ये है कि हम किसी तरह से उसको रोक सकते हैं। अदरवाइज तो अगर 2 मीटर वाटर राइज हो गया तो कितना हमारा कोस्टल रीजन तबाही की ओर जाने वाले हैं। तो मैं ये डिटेल में चर्चा नहीं करूंगा, मैं सिर्फ ये संदर्भ इसलिए बता रहा हूं कि जब हम बहुत सामने से जब देखता है तो खतरनाक जो स्थिति आने वाला है, जो आने वाला कुछ सालों के अंदर में, उसका तैयारी हमको रहना पड़ेगा। इसलिए हमने अपना विभाग में सोचा है कि वेदर के बारे में हम लोग सब पढ़ते हैं, वेदर फोरकास्ट करते हैं। आज भी मैं जब एयरपोर्ट में उतरा तो यहाँ आने से पहले हमारे जो इंडिया मेट्रोलॉजिकल डिपार्टमेंट, जो इंडिया का सबसे पुराना डिपार्टमेंट है, जो ये वेदर फोरकास्ट करते रहते हैं, वहाँ ऑफिस में हम गए और उन लोगों से बातचीत किया, कैसे उत्तराखंड में आप वेदर फोरकास्ट डिजास्टर प्रिवेंशन के लिए क्या क्या आप लोग कर रहे हैं। मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूं कि डिजास्टर के लिए आपने देखा होगा जैसे साइक्लोन वगैरह आते हैं तो परफेक्ट एक्यूरेट हम फोरकास्ट करते हैं, इतने बजे इतना इंटेंसिटी का यहाँ साइक्लोन आने वाला है, तो 2 दिन पहले इवैक्यूएशन हो जाते हैं, सब कुछ ठीक ठाक हो जाते हैं। तो पहले लोग हजारों लोग जान गंवाते थे, आज एक भी जान नहीं गंवाते, क्योंकि हमने सारा जो प्रिपरेटरी वर्क्स है, तैयारी पहले कर लेते हैं। लेकिन इसको आगे क्या सोचना है, फ्रॉम वेदर फोरकास्ट तो वेदर मैनेजमेंट। अब मैं वेदर मैनेजमेंट के बारे में कोई भाषण तो नहीं दूंगा लंबा चौड़ा, लेकिन हम ये मानते हैं कि आगे हमको साइंस के माध्यम से ये सोचना होगा कि जैसे हम पानी को एक जगह जाने से रोक के एक जगह भेजते हैं, या हम चेक डैम बनाते हैं, डिजास्टर को रोकते हैं, या कई तरीका हम अपनाते हैं, वैसे वेदर मैनेजमेंट हम सिर्फ कल बारिश होने वाले हैं, परसों बर्फ पड़ने वाले हैं, क्लाउड बर्स्ट होने वाले हैं, ये ग्लेशियल जो लेक है वो बर्स्ट होने वाले हैं, इतना ही तक सीमित नहीं रह करके हम आगे जा करके वेदर मैनेजमेंट, जैसे कि आर्टिफिशियल रेन होता है या कई तरीके के होते हैं, जैसे मैंने कहा मैं डिटेल में इसका चर्चा नहीं करूंगा क्योंकि ये बहुत टेक्निकल भी है और इसका बहुत कुछ और आगे करना है। लेकिन हमारा सोच ऑलरेडी है कि हम वेदर फोरकास्ट से वेदर मैनेजमेंट में कैसे शिफ्ट करना है। ये हमारा भविष्य के लिए, हमारे युवा पीढ़ी के लिए हमको साइंटिफिक माध्यम से आगे चलना है। तो कई चीजें हैं, हम ओशन में जाते हैं आजकल, हमने बहुत आसान कर दिया है। अब हमारा फिशरमैन वगैरह जाता है या शिपिंग रूट्स में जितने लोग जाते हैं, सबको डिजास्टर से कैसे बचना है काफी हमने कदम उठाया है। अल्टीमेटली मैंने जैसे कहा, मैं बहुत ज्यादा लंबा टेक्निकल बात तो नहीं कहूंगा, लेकिन आम सरल भाषा में ये जो 6th वर्ल्ड कांग्रेस ऑन डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट को आम लोगों तो कैसे ले जाए, यही हमारा सक्सेस स्टोरी तय करेगा। द मोर सक्सेसफुली वी टेक द डिक्लेरेशन ऑफ सच ग्रेट इवेंट टू क्लोज टू द पीपल, then we will treat as a successful carrying out of a conference, because after all it is the community people who will have to be resilient in handling any kind of disaster situation. To handle any hazardous situation, every individual must be disaster resilient. He must be aware of how to conduct himself. आज हम लोग यहाँ बैठे हैं, अर्थक्वेक आ गया, क्या करना है तुरंत? हम अर्थक्वेक प्रेडिक्शन नहीं कर रहे हैं, नहीं कर पा रहा अभी भी, लेकिन हम एफोर्ड कर रहे हैं कि कम से कम 30 सेकंड पहले, अर्थक्वेक आने से पहले हम बता तो सकते हैं कि अर्थक्वेक आने वाले हैं। मैंने अभी सिस्मोलॉजिकल सेंटर जितना है वो देखा है। हमारा जो करात में बोर होल है, नाउ वी हैव डग अप टू 3 kilometer, but we are planning to go beyond 6 kilometers. So we have made the borehole up to 3 kilometers, 3,000 meters depth. Then now we are finding so many things. Earthquake का जो phenomenon है उसको हम लोग पता चल रहा है, लेकिन अभी तो हम लोगों ने जो टिप आइसबर्ग का टिप भी पता नहीं किया है, इतना गहरा है, इतना बड़ा इशू है। वैसे ही हर एंगल में हम लोग साइंस के माध्यम से आगे हमको बहुत कुछ पता करना है। So all the experts who are here today, your contributions, your work, your dedication are basically leading us towards a better future. This will take us to a situation where we can handle any situation in a much more robust manner. मैं जो मैनेजमेंट कमेटी के सारे जितना सदस्य हैं, खास करके इस शानदार यूनिवर्सिटी के जो लोग हैं, यहाँ के जो चांसलर हैं, वाइस चांसलर हैं, आप सबको मैं धन्यवाद देता हूं कि आज मुझे आपको यूनिवर्सिटी में आने का मौका मिला। तो मैं गवर्नर साहब का ज्यादा टाइम नहीं लूंगा। मैंने पहले ही कहा था कि गवर्नर साहब आया है तो हमारे गवर्नर साहब आर्मी ऑफिसर रहे हैं, तो ये डिजास्टर सिचुएशन बड़ा फिजिकली प्रैक्टिकली हैंडल किए हैं। हमारा एलजी साहब हमारा अंडमान निकोबार से आए हैं, एडमिरल साहब, उन्होंने कितना सागर में इस तरह का जो आपदा जो आते हैं उसको हैंडल किया होगा। अब मैं भी मंत्री होने के नाते मैं एक्सपर्ट तो नहीं हूं, लेकिन इन सब चीजों को अप्रिशिएट करते हुए सरकार की ओर से क्या करना है, आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी के देख रेख में उसके गाइडेंस के साथ हम आगे जो भी आज इस तरीके का आप लोग जैसे बैठे हैं, ऐसा जो पॉलिसी मैटर, ऐसे जो रिकमेंडेशन आते हैं उसको हम अपने पॉलिसी में, सरकार का जो आउटलुक में कैसे हम इसको सम्मिलित करें और पॉलिसी में इसको रखते हुए भविष्य को कैसे हम अच्छा और एक मजबूत भविष्य खड़ा करें, यही हम करना चाहते हैं। और फिर गवर्नर साहब और हमारा एलजी साहब पूरे टीम को आज साथ में हम यहाँ पा करके बहुत हम प्रसन्नता मिला है, बहुत खुशी हुई है। मैं सबको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देता हूँ। जय हिंद।
Koti Koti Dhanyavad, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, I was right. This is the young voice of Indian Parliament. So much concern about preparing India, resilient, prepared, tough, and robust. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have amongst us as a chief guest for today, Lieutenant General Gurmeet Singh, PVSM, UYSM, AVSM, BSM, His Excellency, the Governor of Uttarakhand. General Gurmeet Singh has served the nation as Deputy Chief of Army Staff, a man known for his military deftness and proficiency in the Indian Army. Lieutenant General Singh's personality is a combination of bravery, courage, kindness, compassion, simplicity, and honesty. An expert in taking tough decisions in his military career, General Singh is broad-minded, soft in spirit, heart, and his thoughts. He has compassion, love, and affection for all. He has a special attachment with soldiers, warriors, and martyrs. He was also the chief execution patron of Rashtriya Sainik Sanstha. He has been participating in TV media on First Focus as Jai Hind General and as a defense expert. He has been awarded with 4 presidential awards and 2 commendations by the Chief of Army Staff during his nearly 40 years of service in Army. Param Vishisht Seva Medal, Uttam Yuddha Seva Medal, Ati Vishisht Seva Medal, and Vishisht Seva Medal. Ladies and gentlemen, he has also served in Banbasa of Uttarakhand during his tenure of Army. Let's welcome him with a loud round of applause. Sir, I invite you for your address.
Namaste. Namaste from entire Uttarakhand. Namaste actually means the soul of Uttarakhand greets soul of each one of you. Each participant from all the 70 countries and pure parivar ko Atma se greetings. With folded hands, researchers, scientists, delegates, and representatives from 70 countries worldwide. I would like to thank you, each one of you who participated to deliberate and discuss on the disaster as a universal threat. ये जो आपने मंथन और चिंतन किया है, this deliberations and discussion, इसका जो अमृत निकलेगा वो सचमुच हमको हरेक हमारी चुनौतियों के लिए सिद्धि और सॉल्यूशन अवश्य ही देगा. I also very deeply want to thank all of you today, especially those who are present here, because it was very touching that the 6th World Conference on Disaster Management, the moment this auspicious meeting started, the success in our challenge started rolling out. So you are the one who brought that good luck to each one of us. And they say success breeds success. And hereafter, I think what we have gone through will tell us how to take on the challenges in life when this thing happened. In fact, I was very fortunate. I went and met the 41 workers who were trapped in that tunnel. A very beautiful word which Manya Rijiju ji ne kaha hai ki each one of us should be a disaster resilient. When I interacted with them, I was so happy because they themselves were radiating happiness, the fortitude, the confidence, the way they battled the scene. They have given example to the entire world how to survive for 17 days, 400 hours, and how to have hope during such circumstances. I think this is the biggest lesson which has been given to us. Uttarakhand terrain is prone to geological challenges. And it is characterized by the young Himalayas. In fact, one is always reminded of 1991 Uttarkashi earthquake, which stands as a stark reminder of the region's seismic vulnerability. The terrible tragedy of Kedarnath in June 2013, which occurred in the form of a flash flood, has been recognized as one of the greatest disasters in the country, where a large number of lives were lost. In fact, one thing is definite. When you look at this number 6, it is connected to how to fix a problem. And I think the deliberations which you have done, today I'm feeling very happy that you come out with Dehradun declaration. And beautiful mantra which you have given along with this declaration is, Earth is my mother and I am her child. And this has been, I would say, released in front of our Union Minister of Earth Science. What a beautiful coherency. In fact, even in Sikhism, in the Guru Granth Sahib, it is written, Pavan Guru Pani Pita Mata Tarat Mahan. It talks about the greatness of the earth. And I'm so happy we have respected the Mother Earth as a mantra in this declaration. This 20 points and the 5 actionable perspective which you are given, and each carry 4 points. I think this 20 points which has been listed here will definitely give us a process to fight the disaster hereafter. In fact, what we have witnessed amongst us is a cosmic coherency. Coherency means this conference started and we came out of our challenge of Silkyara tunnel. When we are closing this World Congress on Disaster Management and handing over to the Brazil chapter, at the same moment, Honorable Prime Minister is participating in 28 COP, which shows the coherency of what is being done here and what is being aspired at the world level. I think let's clap for this universal mission to fight the disasters. In fact, this number will never go out of the mind. 17 days, 400 hours, 41 to be rescued, and the environment of crisis, adversity, and challenges. But what was the most important aspect is that the lesson to be learned was all of the government approach, all of the agencies approach, and all of the options approach. This jointness, this singularity, this oneness, this focusedness was the key lesson which came out. In fact, I would say how to fight disasters at this level. The biggest lesson was the national will, the political will, hard decisions, and all those carried through the coordination, integration, jointness, and focused direction. Amount of monitoring, amount of review, amount of redirection, amount of logistics that moved was fantastic. In fact, I learned from these 41 workers what is self-control, what is self-discipline, what is fortitude, what is hope, and what was their trust in the nation. The biggest lesson which came out for us is how the leadership should take control of the situations. I think the example of leadership जो माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने हमको प्रदर्शित की है और जिस प्रकार से पूरी दुनिया से रिसोर्सेस, be it America, Slovenia, Switzerland, Australia, everyone was integrated into it. Even, I would say, technology, machines, plasma cutters, and even Astha, the belief, divinity, spirituality played its role. In fact, Mr. Arnold from Australia, ऐसा दिल करता है कि उनको अर्नोल्ड जी कहकर बोला जाए. Because I think what we have achieved is integrating technology with the belief system. आपका सभ्यता, संस्कृति और belief system, faith, trust को किस प्रकार टेक्नोलॉजी से मिलाकर आप डिजास्टर में किस प्रकार से जीत पा सकते हैं. United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction, UNDRR, they had estimated that between 2000 to 2019, over 1.2 million lives were lost. And approximately 4.2 billion people were affected by disasters worldwide. We have to ensure that this number that was lost, we must fight for it, that we don't lose this number. I think this is a challenge for each one of us. The Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction, which was adopted in 2015, exemplifies the potential of international collaboration. This voluntary, non-binding agreement outlines 7 global targets to be achieved by 2030, emphasizing the interconnectedness of the disaster risk reduction, sustainable development, and climate change adaptation. We are very proud to state that our state disaster management administration in Uttarakhand has incorporated all 4 Sendai framework principles for operation and prevention. Calls for a clap. Disasters, whether natural or human-induced, transcend borders, necessitating a global response that prioritizes collaboration, innovation, and shared resources. As the frequency and intensity of disaster continue to rise, it becomes imperative for the international community to forge a unified front in disaster management. Science serves as the foundation for understanding the complex interplay between human activities and the natural world. Though advancements in meteorology, geology, and environmental science, we can gain insights into the patterns and triggers of natural disasters, such as extreme rainfall, floods, landslides, and earthquakes. This knowledge is crucial for disaster preparedness, mitigation, and response strategies. Technology acts as a catalyst for innovation, providing tools and solutions to address the challenges of a changing climate and natural disasters. Remote sensing technology, such as satellite imagery and radar perspectives, can provide real-time data on land use changes, deforestation, and glacier retreat, aiding in the disaster risk reduction and sustainable land management practices. It is also important that governance plays a pivotal role in establishing the framework for sustainable development. Policy reforms that incentivize eco-friendly practices, promote renewable energy sources, and regulate land use patterns are crucial for steering the state towards a sustainable future. With technology and scientific innovation, India is on the route to significant economic growth, which is expected to be accelerated by the initiative such as Make in India, Skill India, Digital India, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, and many others. And this opens up chances for planning, designing, and implementing development initiative in various sectors in ways that do not compound the risk, but rather contribute to the process of mitigating the risk of disasters. It's true that life is uncertain and unpredictable, but only for those who do not prepare themselves for it. We cannot stop natural calamities, but we can empower ourselves with knowledge, and with the adequate disaster preparedness, many lives can be saved. Being reactive is one thing, but collectively, I think we need to urge ourselves to be more proactive. This conference, this 4 days deliberations and discussion, is very important for Himalayan region. I can understand from Uttarakhand perspective. The thoughts and the concept of DRR, disaster risk reduction, is gaining importance everywhere in the world now. Even G20 has accepted importance of disaster risk reduction. A specialized research institute for Himalayan region is the need of the hour, which focuses on 360 degrees on disaster management and mitigation, economic sustenance model, and overall well-being of the population. Our Silk Yara resilience model provides a new ray of light, and it must be studied and researched further. We have decided, in fact, I'm very happy कि माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने भी उसी क्षण कहा कि इसके ऊपर में रिसर्च होनी चाहिए, गहरी रिसर्च होनी चाहिए, ताकि इससे सबक सीखे जाए. I'm sure Dehradun Declaration will provide a guiding light for years to come. Antim mein, aakhir mein, in the last, my compliments and deep appreciation for an excellent conduct of 6th World Congress on Disaster Management 2023 in this location in graphic era. And what a pleasure to be in a hall like this. I think let's clap for the institution also. Collective gratitude for focused deliberations, discussions, and contributions toward solution, recommendation, and suggestions. Our immersive quest for proactive perspectives, preparedness, planning, and resilience building for overcoming challenges across the spectrum of disaster management profile will definitely bring success to our collective endeavors. I would like to give my personal compliments and congratulations to all those who made this event a success. I would like to compliment Dr. Ranjit Kumar Sinha. A lot of work has gone into it, and my compliments the way it has been conducted. 4 days, focused deliberations. My compliments to Dr. Durgesh Pant. Durgesh is also the name of our Devi. So very powerful, centralized job which he did. My personal thanks to Admiral D.K. Joshi, sir. 4 days you're being here with us. I think it has added value to our every effort that we've done. My personal thanks to you. I don't know, I'm today very happy listening to Shri Kiran Rijiju ji. He comes from Arunachal Pradesh, and I love that state. That state really teaches you how to be prepared for disaster management. I served for 2 years in the place that he comes from. On one side is the innocence, simplicity, humbleness of our people from Arunachal Pradesh, and second side is the fortitude, dedication, and ability to fight adversity and disasters. So when this lessons comes from him, when he talks about the topic disaster, it has got a deep and a focused meaning behind that. Akhir mein, antim mein, I would say that this 4 days has been a period of learning, interacting, and understanding in the end that disaster is a collective challenge for the mankind, for the entire universe. And therefore, we have to be collective on finding a solution on how to tackle this problem for us. Jai Hind, Namaskar. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so very much for this wonderful deliberation. And ladies and gentlemen, what a pious addition to the Dehradun declaration. Sir ने mention किया संकल्प से सिद्धि और सिद्धि से समाधान. Sir, उत्तराखंड राज्य आपके निर्देशन में तैयार है. Thank you so very much, sir. Now, ladies and gentlemen, following the true tradition of India, we would like to felicitate the Honorable Chief Guest and the Guest of Honor with a gesture of memento. I'd like to request Honorable Rakhi Ghanshala, Madam, the Member of Board of Management, Graphic and Education Society, to kindly grace the memento to Honorable Chief Guest. I would like to request, sir, if you can come forward so that we can have a gesture of honor and appreciation to Shri Kiran Rijiju ji, Honorable Cabinet Minister. I would like to request the dignitaries, they can come forward so that we can have a better view of this, because it is a request from the press. and a memento to Admiral D.K. Joshi, Lieutenant Governor, and today's guest of honor. And a token of appreciation to Honorable Member of Parliament, Rajya Sabha, Shri Naresh Bansal ji. Thank you so much, ma'am. Now I'd like to invite on stage the founder president of Graphic Era Group of Institutions, Professor Kamal Ganshala, to propose the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon. Chief Guest, Lieutenant General Gurmeet Singh, AVSM, PVSM, USM, SM, Honorable Governor of Uttarakhand, Guest of Honor, Sri Kiran Rijiju, Honorable Cabinet Minister, Government of India, Guest of Honor, Admiral D.K. Joshi ji, AVSM, PVSM, Lieutenant Governor of Andaman and Nicobar, Sri Naresh Bansal ji, MP, Dr. Anand Babu, Professor Durgesh Pant, other dignitaries of the dais, invited guests, speakers, delegates from across the world. First of all, I like to thank all the organizers and participants of WCDM for making it a great success. See, today we have Lieutenant General Gurmeet Singh, Governor of Uttarakhand with us. जनरल साहब जब भी हमारे कैंपस में आते हैं या कहीं भी उत्तराखंड में जाते हैं, एक नई ऊर्जा का संचालन हो जाता है। हमारे साथ यूथ आइकन श्री किरण रिजिजू जी हैं, जो ऑनरेबल कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर हैं अर्थ साइंसेस, एंड टुडे यू हैव गिवन अस a new insight. We used to think only about weather forecast. So now new thing is weather management. So some of our students sitting here, I think they will take this line also. They will start working for weather management. अभी यहाँ पे जो गेस्ट ऑफ ऑनर हैं एडमिरल D.K. जोशी जी, उनका भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद मैं करना चाहूँगा, because for all 4 days he served his blessings. चारों दिन वो यहाँ पे थे और उनका मार्गदर्शन हमको मिलता रहा। तो आप सभी महापुरुषों का मैं बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करता हूँ। स्पेशली हमारे जो चीफ गेस्ट साहब हैं, ऑनरेबल गवर्नर लेफ्टिनेंट जनरल गुरमीत सिंह जी, उन्होंने अपना कीमती समय निकाला और हमारे बीच आए, तो इसके लिए बहुत बहुत हृदय से मैं उनका आभारी हूँ। गेस्ट ऑफ ऑनर किरण रिजिजू जी, he has come all the way from Delhi, and just after this function he will be rushing back to Delhi. तो आप यहाँ पे आए और अपने वेदर मैनेजमेंट का जो हमें एक नया डायरेक्शन दिखाया है, मैं आपका बहुत बहुत आभारी हूँ। जितने भी अभी यहाँ पे राम बाबू जी बैठे हैं कन्वीनर, उनका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद है, लेकिन उससे पहले यहाँ पे डॉक्टर सिन्हा बैठे हैं जो सेक्रेटरी हैं डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट के, उनका मार्गदर्शन हमको मिला। DIG मिस्टर R.K. नेगी जी हैं IPS, और whenever I used to come here, क्योंकि मेरा इसके साथ साथ अभी we are going for a medical college, तो उसका इंस्पेक्शन होने वाला है, तो मैं मॉर्निंग करीब 8 बजे से इवनिंग 9:30 तक तो वहाँ रहता था। लेकिन जब यहाँ रात को आया प्रिपरेशन देखने के लिए, मैंने हमेशा DIG साहब को यहाँ पे पाया और वो यहाँ देखते रहते थे। उनका बहुत बहुत आभारी हूँ मैं कि उन्होंने अपना कीमती वक्त हमको दिया। दुर्गेश पंत जी ने हम पे विश्वास किया, बिकॉज I remember around 1 month back, I went to UCOS. मुझे पता चला था कि ये इतनी बड़ी जो कांग्रेस यहाँ पे होने वाली है, तो लेकिन वहाँ पे जो लोग थे उन्होंने कहा अभी आपका ऑडिटोरियम इट्स स्टिल इनकम्प्लीट, थोड़ा टाइम लगेगा, वेदर यू विल बी एबल टू डू इट। तो उस मीटिंग में जितने भी थे, कन्वीनर साहब थे, दुर्गेश पंत थे और लोग थे, उन्होंने दे हैड फेथ इन मी, उन्होंने इस जगह का सिलेक्शन किया। फाइनली हम इसको पूरा कर पाए और अच्छी तरह से इसका संचालन कर पाए, तो उन सभी लोगों का मैं बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करता हूँ। एनडीआरएफ के ब्रिगेडियर सिंह साहब का और उनके जितने भी यहाँ पे डेलीगेट्स आ रखे हैं उनका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करता हूँ। और जियोलॉजिकल सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया से डॉक्टर ठपदयाल जो डिप्टी डायरेक्टर हैं, उनका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करता हूँ, वहाँ से भी लोग आए हुए हैं। नेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ हाइड्रोलॉजी से लोग आए हैं, उनका भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करता हूँ। वाडिया इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ हिमालयन जियोलॉजी, yesterday night I met their डायरेक्टर, उनका भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करता हूँ, उन्होंने यहाँ पार्टिसिपेशन किया। वाइल्ड लाइफ इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ इंडिया से भी यहाँ पे लोग हैं, उनका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करता हूँ। इंडियन स्पेस रिसर्च ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से यहाँ पे बहुत से लोग आए हैं, बहुत से साइंटिस्ट ने यहाँ पे पार्टिसिपेट किया, उनका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करता हूँ। इसके अलावा डिस्ट्रिक्ट एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, हमारी डिस्ट्रिक्ट मजिस्ट्रेट मैडम सोनिका, पुलिस पर्सनल्स जिन्होंने यहाँ पे रात दिन काम किया, मेंबर्स ऑफ प्रिंट एंड इलेक्ट्रॉनिक मीडिया जिन्होंने इस कांग्रेस को पूरी दुनिया में पहुंचाया, इन सब का भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करता हूं। इसके अलावा जितने भी यहाँ पे कैटरिंग से जुड़े हुए कर्मचारी हैं, सफाई कर्मचारी हैं और प्राइवेट सिक्योरिटी वाले लोग हैं, टेक्नीशियंस हैं, उन सब का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करता हूं कि आपने इस पूरे इवेंट को एक ग्रेट सक्सेस बनाया। जैसा कि एचई साहब ने बताया कि हमने मंथन करके अमृत निकाल लिया है और ये अमृत जितने भी पेपर्स यहाँ से पब्लिश होंगे इंटरनेशनल रेप्यूट के जर्नल्स में, तो वो अमृत उन पेपर्स के थ्रू पूरे वर्ल्ड तक पहुंचेगा और ये देहरादून डिक्लेरेशन बहुत लंबे समय तक याद किया जाएगा और कोट किया जाएगा। सो इसके साथ मैं आप सभी लोगों को पुनः धन्यवाद देते हुए अपनी वाणी को विराम देता हूं। जय हिंद।
Thank you so much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, honorable guests on the dais, of the dais, may I request all of you to please rise and join us on national anthem. I request everybody present in the hall to please take their respective seats till the guest of honor and the chief guest departs from this hall. Thank you.
there is an announcement. All the international guests who have come from foreign countries, so for them, an escorted tour has been organized for Ganga Aarti at Rishikesh. Whosoever wants to go, kindly please stay back and give your details to Dr. Pooja from USDMA. She is here. And this will start at 2:45 from here and then bring back, drop you to your respective hotels in the evening. Thank you.